So I made a video looking at Xbox drama and I did an audit on it. So now I'm doing the PlayStation video. So this is a look back at 2021 to sort of look at the drama that happened throughout the year, see if there's any updates. Let's get into it. So we're going to go throughout the whole year of 2021, look at the drama moments from Sony, and then go about our day. But basically, looking back at 2021, let's talk about a few of the things that happened. So in January, I think the biggest thing that happened in January was Cyberpunk was still not on the PlayStation Store after they pulled it, and CDPR had no idea when it would return. So for me, this is fairly positive one for Sony. I think that the game did not launch in a state that should have shipped. I gave it a 4 out of 10. On IGN because of its abysmal launch status. And for the base consoles, they haven't corrected that. I think it's finally come back digitally. Yeah, it came back on the 21st of June. So on June 21st, Cyberpunk was back on the store. So it was off the store for months. Anyway, VGC also wrote an article talking about their concerns about the decline of the PlayStation brand in Japan. There has been a really big focus on the American markets lately, especially with the type of games that they're launching. I would be very surprised to see Sony completely abandon Japan. That doesn't really make any sense to me, but the Xbox brand has been showing some promise in that territory, something largely unheard of in the past. So I don't know if VGC had any credence to that article, but it was published back in January. It's a drama thing, so I'm talking about it. I don't really have anything to update there. In February, though, Sony closed their oldest studio in Japan, Japan studio. SIE also has strong, and their comment was, SIE also has strong relationships with licensees in Japan, so we will continue to strengthen our ties with them and develop titles made in Japan for PlayStation fans around the world. Now, since then, there have been rumors about Sony opening another Japan studio. That hasn't come to fruition yet. Sony has been bulking up with smaller studios. And the biggest argument that I saw for closing of Japan studio, which worked on some of my favorite games of all time. So if you want to know why I'm upset about it, because the team who made Ico, Shadow of the Colossus, Last Guardian, games that I adore, games that maybe aren't perfect, but have a real heart to them and a true ambition to tell a unique story that touched me in a very interesting way, an unexpected way, I guess I would say. To see that studio close, and I realized that Fumito Ueda left around 2014 as that studio began its decline. It's really sad for me. I don't have an update on that studio. I believe now it is largely to create Astrobot games, and just to see some of the more interesting stuff not happen out of that studio anymore. It's sad. It's a sad time and unfortunate. And honestly, a lot of people were very mad at Sony at this time in February. A lot of developers left the company and were very saddened, obviously, to no longer work there. It's a massive building. Time will tell what Sony ends up doing there. A lot of people, somebody in my comments said it's because it was too expensive. Who knows? Who knows why they decided to close it, but they're not stopping with the games. It's just, it's sort of, maybe it's just part of time, but it's certainly sad for me to see a studio that made so many great titles close. In March, this was when the PS3, PSP, all the stores were closing. And I always say, if you actually say it loud enough, Sony will listen to you. They will backtrack on things when they're pressed on them. And the store closing is one of the items that they backtracked on. Thankfully, because I was able to download all my PlayStation 3 games on my PlayStation 3 and have it ready to go at any time. This was because of such negative backlash from the community. They ended up reverting their policy and delaying the closure of the PSP store and some of the other beloved stores. So that's actually a good thing. In April, I think the largest drama was the AAA focus this was brought up by Jim Ryan, who said, we're going to basically focus on AAA games. And a lot of people in the industry were quite concerned about that. They thought that indie games wouldn't have as much, how do I say it? People were concerned because if you're only going to focus on AAA games, what about the experimental games? What about the weird stuff that sort of creates new ideas, like Katamari Damacy or Last Guardian, to use it as an example again, or Gravity Rush? What's going to happen to those? And unfortunately, it seems like there's going to be fewer of those, but we are going to get more of the AAA experiences that will be great. So gamers actually seem happy about it. Developers still seem a little uneasy about it. But anytime there is change, I think that is going to happen. In May, it was revealed via court documents that Sony charges all developers to implement crossplay. I don't think there's any way to cut this as other than a negative. This is a policy that I truly feel Sony should revert. Sure, it is their right as a business owner to do this, but is it what's best for the gaming industry as a whole? I would argue no. In June, there was the issue with indies being charged $25,000. And there was also the We Believe in Generations backpedaling, because it turns out that, hey, they don't want to sacrifice their 100 million PlayStation 4 user base for games like Horizon, for games like Gran Turismo. So those will be launching cross-generationally. The indie issue with $25,000 was basically that indie developers, if they don't want to do a tremendous amount of work to make sure that their game is featured in a certain way, then they have to pay $25,000 for that guaranteed placement. Now, I will say this. One of the people I respect a ton over at Sony, and there's a lot of them, but one I respect a lot is Shuhei Yoshida. He has come out and he has been tweeting a lot about his support for indie developers, showing how you can find those games. You can sort by when games were added, so you can see all the new games added to the PlayStation Store. And I think something is going on in the back end that we don't know about publicly, but there's been no official update on that story yet. But in June, that was a big story. Indie developers coming up from everywhere talking about how difficult it is to work with Sony and how great it is to work with Microsoft and even Nintendo comparatively. So hopefully that is one that gets issued. In July was pretty quiet. That was mostly Sony removing the Japan studio from their website, which they replaced with Asobi, I want to say. And then the Nixies PC ports, confirmations that are going to be working on PC ports. This one is just sort of an odd drama that I think most people don't care about, but there are some PlayStation fans that truly believe that nobody who owns a PC should be able to ever play a PlayStation game. It should always be a PlayStation exclusive, and they get really mad. They are wrong, and that is not a behavior that should be celebrated or anything. It is a strange behavior. More people being able to play the games you love should be celebrated, in my opinion. And gatekeeping a game to a plastic box because of, I don't get it. Like, why? Who cares? Oh no, PC gamers can also play the game that you love. Oh, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's my opinion. In August, there was the downgraded console controversy. That was when they released the new console with a smaller heatsink, and Austin Evans recorded the thermal output of the console and found that it actually ran warmer. I actually have an update on this one. Another developer came out, and check this out. This is insane because they actually put sensors on the actual CPU, and that smaller heatsink, it actually runs 10 degrees Celsius cooler than the original model. So somehow, with a smaller heatsink with less material, Sony has managed to manufacture, according to their findings, a heatsink that runs better and cools the system better than the original model. So kudos to Sony, and just wow. But boo to anybody who doxed Austin Evans for making a video. Yeah, that's the sort of mentality that absolutely needs to stop online. It's mob mentality, and it's really, really gross. In September, there was a Horizon $80 fee for PlayStation users to be able to upgrade to PS5. Here's what happened. Sony was trying to charge $80 for PS4 users to be able to upgrade to PS5. They had originally promised a free upgrade for anybody who bought Horizon on PS4 to be able to play on PS5. And then they said, oh, it's going to be $20 actually, $10 more than it already costs. They also took this as an opportunity to revert that decision. So they reverted that decision. And they also took this as an opportunity to say, hey, going forward, every game that's upgraded to the PS5 version will cost $10. So they join EA and Activision in charging $10 more for games. Ubisoft recently said, hey, guess what? You can upgrade Far Cry for free to your next gen version, and Xbox is still a free upgrade. So that is one that I still take issue with, but kudos on them for at least reverting and keeping their word. Sort of kudos, because you should just keep your word if you say you're going to do something. And when somebody pointed that, yeah, I've kind of come around on that one. Yeah, you should do what you're going to say, what you're going to do. Keep your word. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I said it so weird. And then general issues people still have with save transfers. Hopefully they're working on that. And just the upgrade costs, which I've talked about a few times. So a few of the positive changes I did want to note, actually, a generally good note is that a sizable bonuses were sent out to their developers, like $70,000 bonuses. And even with all this drama throughout the year, we're getting amazing games, especially after their conference. We saw Wolverine coming, KOTOR, which I'm sure will be good. I hope is good. And then, Spider-Man 2. The games are looking great. And there's a lot more greatness coming. Anyway, that's sort of my look at all the drama throughout the year. And I just went off memory. So if you have any comments or anything, let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. I'm going to get out of here, but before I do, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell to know when the videos go live. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. If you want to become a member, memberships are turned on. Thank you to everybody who has become a member. I'm going to get out of here for now, but I'll catch you for the next one. Bye, everybody.